From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Shan with today's Voice Briefing. It's Friday, October 31st, 2025.
I'm Violet Ekonomova, a reporter with the Free Press.
And I'm Dana Afana.
Detroit's municipal elections are Tuesday, and the paper has long-form profiles of both mayoral candidates. I wrote about Council President Mary Sheffield, who has served on the legislative body for 12 years and is lauded as both a pragmatist and ambitious fighter for the city's vulnerable. Sheffield hails from a locally famous political family. Her grandfather was revered for his role in the labor and civil rights movements, where he served alongside giants like Walter Reuther and Martin Luther King. Sheffield's father, the head of the Detroit Association of Black Organizations, is controversial and encouraged her to get into politics. She was elected to council as the youngest ever council member in 2013 at age 26 and rose steadily, elevating grassroots causes and often clashing with the more conservative Mayor Duggan. Now that she's running for mayor, she has the corporate community's backing with a donor list that's not unlike Duggan's that's prompted questions about how she'll govern.
Meanwhile, Reverend Solomon Kinloch is running on a platform to tackle poverty in the city after growing up in hardship himself, wondering how and when he would get any food or water. His church provided him those necessities, which later fueled his leadership of Triumph Church and his candidacy for mayor. Kinloch made clear he isn't looking to pastor the city, but wants to lead in a way where people can feel seen. Though he's never been an elected official, he touts his executive leadership and church initiatives he ran, like youth programs, pandemic aid distributions, and educational opportunities as qualifications.
From automotive reporter Jackie Charnaga, General Motors has shut down Factory Zero until November 24th as the Detroit automaker eases back on electric vehicle production. The news comes on the heels of GM telling the SEC that not producing as many EVs as it planned would cost the company $1.6 billion. The Detroit Hamtramck facility will operate at full capacity from November 24th until January 5th. After January 5th, about 1,200 workers will be placed on indefinite layoff. Factory Zero produces the GMC Hummer EV pickup and SUV, the Sierra EV truck, Chevrolet Silverado EV truck, and Cadillac Escalade IQ EV SUV. With fewer EVs planned for production, GM will require fewer EV batteries. On top of the losses in Michigan, GM plans to lay off hundreds at its Ultium battery plants in Ohio and Tennessee. Across both plants, 1,550 workers will be placed on temporary layoff. In Warren, Ohio specifically, 550 workers will be, quote, indefinitely, end quote, laid off. For more on this story, you can search on Freep.com for Jackie Charnaga's article, GM Temporarily Idles Factory Zero as Automaker Braces for Slower EV Sales.
Hey everybody, this is Evan Petzold, the Detroit Tigers beat writer for the Detroit Free Press. On this week's episode of our podcast, Days of Roar, Dan Dickerson, the radio voice of the Tigers, shares what he thinks the Tigers should do with ace Tarik Skubal, who is set to become a free agent after the 2026 season. Here's a snippet of our conversation. You have seen generational pitchers, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, now Tarik Skubal. Do you try your best to extend him, and if you can't, you keep him, or do you really entertain a trade?
So to me, you want to win a World Series in 2026. You keep Tarik Skubal, you build around him, you've got young talent coming, as you said, and then you try to re-sign him. But you have to figure out, and this is what the good executives do, what's the number he needs to get to? Figure out that number. And when you think about the value of keeping him and you think, well, that's a lot of money to pay him in the future, the value of having him and perhaps winning World Series with him. When you think about losing Tarik Skubal, it's like, okay, now our road to the World Series might have to go through Tarik Skubal, a team that has Tarik Skubal. You've just made that road harder.
You can hear that full conversation in this week's episode of Days of Roar, which is available wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, you can find our latest coverage on freep.com/sports.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on Freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thank you for listening. Have a great weekend, and you'll hear more from us Monday.